We are mere hours into the embers of 2020, and there is so much going on in the wrestling world. Later on today on the Cultaholic YouTube channel, we'll have more details on the departure of Mauro Ranallo from NXT and the guy who will possibly be replacing him. We'll talk on that. But you know why you're here. You've seen the thumbnail. Let's crack on with the wrestling news. Brock Lesnar becomes a free agent. A top Raw star is injured, and Drew McIntyre responds to a challenge from Tyson Fury. We'll get to it in a bit. We start with our top story. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reports that Brock Lesnar's WWE contract has expired. And as of this morning, Brock Lesnar is a free agent in the wrestling world. Now, this comes after several months of WWE and Brock Lesnar negotiating for a new deal. But according to this report from PW Insider, both parties met an impasse. Now, this has happened before with Brock Lesnar when negotiating, but, quote, this is the longest hiatus to date from the company whilst negotiating. So there's been times before where they've tried to sign and they've gone back and forth with stuff and it's come very close to the wire, but this is certainly the longest time it's been. And also, this is one of the rare occasions when Brock's contract has completely elapsed from the company, which means he can kind of go and do whatever he wants to do. Now, there's a few other things to note within this. Now, he's still listed on the Raw roster on WWE.com, but I feel like whoever runs that part of the business isn't really paying much attention at the moment, or whether they've forgotten that they do it or forgotten the password. Because I'm sure up until recently, there were still pictures of Kofi Kingston and Big E with the SmackDown Tag Team titles on there. So not much to read into with that, but a few people reported last night that they were unable to buy Brock Lesnar merch from WWEshop.com, and it looks as if all the Brock Lesnar stuff has been taken off the virtual shelves of WWE Shop, which does again suggest that Brock Lesnar's time with WWE is up. And also, why would WWE want to be selling the merchandise to somebody who isn't under contract, no matter how big a beast they probably are? Brock Lesnar rejoined WWE back in 2012 following that initial run in the early noughties, and he's come and gone from the company, wrestled sporadically over that time, toyed with going back to UFC full-time. In fact, there was one point where he did a bit of UFC and a bit of WWE at the same time. Yet through all of this, through all of Brock's umming and ahhing about whether or not he wants to stay, WWE were always able to keep him under contract. So this is a bit of uncharted territory here. We know there's been some issues about Brock Lesnar performing in front of the Performance Center recruits, and I feel like he would feel the same about performing in front of the Thunderdome. Brock Lesnar is a big money draw, and the way to make money back from that draw would be to have people actually in attendance, you know, to sell tickets to. So that hasn't really been an option. There was talk of maybe Brock Lesnar coming back for SummerSlam this year. That was back in March, though, when it looked as if this whole world on fire pandemic thing might just blow over in a few weeks. And when that didn't look like it was happening, those chances of Brock Lesnar returning got thinner and thinner and thinner, to the point where now he is no longer part of WWE. He is officially expired from his contract and a free agent to go and do as and what he wants. Chances are Brock Lesnar will do nothing right now. Chances are he'll just kick back. He's got a lovely farm, he's got a nice lifestyle, he's got loads of money. I think he's just going to kick back. I'm sure there will be comments below that will say, what is Bork doing in the AEW Impact Zone, Maggle? Because Bork is an excellent name for him to take into wherever he goes next. But I don't think he'll do anything. I genuinely don't. Maybe a UFC fight in a couple of years, but I don't think he'll do anything. When we have more on the free agency of Brock Lesnar, you will find out more at Cultaholic.com. One of Brock's former foes fell foul over the weekend. Rey Mysterio, it has been reported by WWE.com, has a torn triceps injury that is going to keep him out of the ring for the time being. This is a similar injury to the one that Edge suffered after Backlash. Rey Mysterio was scheduled to wrestle Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw last night, but as a result of this injury, Doesn't look like that's happening. We don't know when we will see Rey Mysterio back in a WWE ring. The timing of it, there's no good time to get injured, but he has just re-signed with WWE, so he's sticking around on the books for a time being, so chances are he will rehabilitate whilst under contract and make a comeback when he's fit and healthy. What this means for Dominic, we don't quite know. Obviously, his dad was an intrinsic part of the story, and he's been really good in the ring over the last couple of weeks. He's been very impressive as a performer in WWE. Whether they'll just let him go alone now, without his dad in his corner or whatever, then well, I guess we'll find out. We wish Rey Mysterio a speedy recovery all the same. As one star sits on the shelf, another one could be returning soon. Kofi Kingston was on the bump talking about his rehabilitation from his injury, and he says, I'm feeling pretty good. I've been working on my home gym, and it's allowed me to gradually get back into the swing of things. I'm trying not to push too hard. Number one, because I don't want to suffer a setback, and number two, I'm enjoying spending a lot of quantity and quality time with my family. So I'm just trying to enjoy that. And when the time is right, I'll be back. And right now, Big E is holding it down. So it's all good. And it's awesome to see him doing his own thing and thriving at it. I'm at an age now where I'm a lot smarter with my body. So in terms of just coming back and just trying to rush back and get in there, probably wouldn't be the best option. Kofi Kingston in no mad rush to be part of the active roster again. And rightly so, just kick back. And also, I'm quite enjoying the stuff that Big E is doing without Kofi and Xavier Woods there. I think I speak for the overwhelming majority of wrestling fans when I say that Big E has been an absolute revelation over the last few weeks. And you know what? They've given him big wins over former WWE champions. You can't help but feel there are plans in the pipeline for Big E. Fingers crossed. There's also some big plans for some developmental talent in WWE, as the company has signed up a few of the Evolve roster. Now, Evolve was bought by WWE just the other month, and the plan is to put Evolve shows onto WWE Network. We've started seeing adverts for that already, pushing the idea of you can watch your favorite Raw and SmackDown and NXT stars before they were stars as part of Evolve. I don't know whose voice that is, but there's a couple of names they have picked up and signed to developmental deals or NXT deals. Josh Briggs is on the books now. He is the reigning Evolve champion, probably the last Evolve champion as well. He beat Austin Theory for the belt at the end of last year. Anthony Green, retro Anthony Green, who was trained by Spike Dudley. He's worked quite a few indie companies. He had a very, very brief dalliance with Evolve in 2018, with ROH, I should say, sorry. He had a very brief dalliance with Ring of Honor before joining with Evolve in 2018. Brandy Lauren, who has popped up on Raw Underground a couple of times. Before that, she was a part of Shine and Impact Wrestling. She signed, of course, to do stuff all around the wrestling world. Now she's part of the developmental system for WWE. And Kurt Stallion, who is a graduate, one of the first graduates of the New Japan US Dojo. A very talented guy. A semi-finalist in the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament as well. Some really cool names amongst there, which is really exciting to see. Also, Leon Ruff, who PW Insider have reported previously has joined WWE, is on the books as well, along with Jake Clemens, an Evolve referee who is signed on as well. So good luck to everybody. And finalamo, Tyson Fury sat on a train, bored, socially distancing, and decided to get on Twitter and call out Drew McIntyre once again. He really wants to punch Drew McIntyre in the face. As it happens, Drew McIntyre took some time to reply to this video from Tyson Fury and said the following: I'm not one of the normal bums you pick to fight. I'm not just some punching bag getting paid to turn up and lose. Nice timing, by the way. Even with a fractured jaw, I'm pretty confident I could do 12 rounds with your pillow fists. Nice try, King. You're WWE Champion. Drew versus Fury at SummerSlam 2021. Do it in Wembley. SummerSlam in Wembley. It's gonna happen. Hashtag SummerSlam in Wembley. Kicking it old school. More news later today on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.